If you have to do that, that means that you're working more with the guidebook than with the cards, whereas I want to put my energy into the cards. Hey everybody, welcome back. Oh my God, what is she doing? Don't worry, I'm not going to cut up a deck. I am modding a deck. So, I have my coffee, it's the morning. I woke up early to do this project for myself because man, I've been crafting a lot for my students. I've been sewing all their costumes and it's been great, also kind of magical. So, really cool, really positive, really hard though. Man, that takes a lot of effort. Also, it takes a little bit of a toll on my shoulders because I get cramped as I'm sewing at the sewing machine. But you know what? This is going to be a magical initiatory craft project for myself. I'm actually going to tackle Cave of Sybil Oracle guidebook. Okay? I will tell you what my goal is with this. Okay, let's just get started. First, the reason I have Living Altar Oracle is because this is a deck I enjoy a lot. It's, well, not really in order, but I sort of, I have my little system. The reason I have it here is, well, because I wanted to show you a deck that is really beautiful. I love the artwork. It's wonderful in its, layers. This isn't a deck I shuffle anymore. It's not a reading deck. It's more like an altar deck. Also, the cards are huge. The reason I have it here is because you get artwork and a word. And sometimes the artwork and the word, and actually, excuse me, some elements here are not enough to show me the true meaning of the card. And sometimes also my intuition just doesn't really get it. Also, this is very different than very different than Cave of Sybil Oracle. You could see Cave of Sybil is all this and this and not very much this, which is like a, well, current energy Easter card. But it's, I would like sometimes to have more from the creators or more meaning as I pull cards. And the guidebook is okay, right? It's not my favorite for sure. The guidebook is not super helpful when it comes to, I don't know. I guess I'm not really feeling this as, a main working deck. It's just something, as it says, that I have on the altar every once in a while. This one, Cave of Sybil, is a working deck. It's definitely a deck I shuffle and do readings with, and I'm going to talk about this more, I don't know, on YouTube or on Patreon, we'll see. It's a deck that I have dedicated solely to self-work. So, look, I don't know if I'm going to use this for reading for clients. I may do that. This is not what I mean when I say self-work. I mean, this is such, to me, female empowerment. Okay, this deck screams dark feminine, okay? I have a whole video that explains why the feminine is always dark, in my opinion. With that comes the thought how when you're a girl, you're always going to be a girl. You're also, at the same time, going to be well-respected woman, right? Accomplished, self-sufficient woman. A woman who chose her own path in her life. That's at least what I hope for you, right? That last statement. While you can be a woman, you will also always be a girl. So girl world, girlhood, that is the terms, right? That is something that connects women. And it's just so cute and it's so sweet and it's so real. And now that I am finally in my personal life found real, good, healthy, inspiring female friendships, it just makes sense that this deck, I will only ask it questions about my own feelings, my own psyche, my own shadows. So I am not inquiring about anyone else. I'm not asking about family members. I'm not asking about relationships, whether they're friendship or romantic relationships. This is such a triggering card for me, so I'm leaving it in the deck for sure. So, obviously I love the people in my life, but this is a deck that is dedicated to me. So self-worth, self-love, self-care, self development and improvement and understanding. So the people who own this deck know what I'm talking about, right? I've seen your videos. Also, the first card I pulled was this one, which was super significant to me because this is the Sybil card. And this whole deck is named Cave of Sybil. So my reaction was, wow, this is so a deck just for me, all right? I'm not allowing myself to ask any questions about my partner and our relationship and stuff like that. No, this is a deck for me to go in the depths of my own entire self, right? And soul. So, with that amazing explanation about this deck, I have to say, I am reaching for this wonderful little guidebook that Cherame made. She calls it her spell book, and in here we have some collage poems, I guess, that go with every card. Now, even though this still makes you work as a reader, I want to have easier access to these these words. When I pull the messenger card, I don't want to have to go through the guidebook to get to these words. I have thought about taking apart the guidebook and put it in alphabetical order, but that's not good enough actually, because this deck is part of the little pet peeve I have when it comes to tarot and oracle decks. This is why I have my own deck here. When you pull this card, you're not going to have to use a guidebook to get to the deep meaning of the card, right? Here it just says music. I could have told you that without turning the card around, but still, here you pull this card, it's all happening, present, now. This is how you, in my opinion, or let's just say it this way, this is how I like to work with cards. This is why I love tarot. I don't need a cheat sheet to tell me what the card means. I know it, right? And some decks, okay, fine, I'll have a guidebook, right? Some oracle decks and some special decks, but I want to work with the cards. With the cards, please, not with the guidebook, because when you have to go through a guidebook, it's not even in alphabetical order, all right? Not criticizing, this is just the organic way that Cherame did it, but if you have to do that, that means that you're working more with the guidebook than with the cards, whereas I want to put my energy into the cards, okay? Got that? So what I'm actually going to do is something even worse than tearing this book apart and put it in alphabetical order. I am attempting to take out these pages and glue them on the back of the cards that they belong to. I hear you screaming, all the way from the other side of the world as you're watching this video. But that is what I'm going to do. You can't change my mind. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a process, okay? I have all sorts of Mod Podge ready, and a mixing tray and sponges and a, you know, paintbrush, and maybe this for the corners. Every tarot modder knows what this is. I have a pair of scissors. Also, of course, this thing, the cutter, which I've, you know, cut some decks with actually to make them borderless. I'm going to use that on the paper to keep it straight. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And the reason I'm using this beautiful version, which is the version that people have when they get to Tarot May's store, is because I actually like this version. This was a test print and it's on much thicker cardstock. You can see there's no titles on the back or anything. There is a card missing, maybe even 2 cards missing though, and I want the whole deck. So I'm keeping this as an amazing gift that she gave me. How cool is it to have a test print, like 1 out of the 2 probably that she received from the factory, and that's when she decided to go with thinner stock and more smooth finish, or smoother finish, which I think it's cool. By the way, this is one of the cards that's missing from the test print. So, you know, this is an amazing one. I'm not going to do my work with this deck without this card. But, you know, I have to say this is just the better quality deck, and it's the better quality pictures. It's just the superior product. Now, another reason that I am not using the test print, but I'm using the actual deck, is because the test print would become really thick. And these cards are so thin and so smooth that it's actually a little bit too thin and too smooth for me. Yeah, I'm like Goldilocks. This is pretty much what I can expect, right? Adding all these pages to the backs of these cards. That is good to me. I'm like, yeah, that seems like an amazing magical tool. Better than this, which is sliding through my hands. And again, you know, this is a choice, and I know a lot of people love smooth cards, but also maybe it's because I haven't shuffled it that much, because I do readings with the card and then I wait a whole week before I pull another one. So, you know, it's slow, deep work. That's what this deck is giving. But okay, I hope I made my points, and let's go. Let's start. Let's try. I know people are clutching their pearls, and I'm sorry about that. I'm ripping it. Let's start from the back. Ooh. Carefully. It's so beautiful. So I do have to keep them very much in order, because otherwise I might lose where this belongs. It belongs to Mother. And of course here we have the next one, the ego. Black sulfur, corrupt vein, defile the flesh, cut off the head. Damn, that's so good for ego. I hadn't pulled that card yet. I am going to do this correctly and put all the cards in order off camera, and I'll get back to you guys. Also, last little thing, obviously we have these titles here, and I think if I want to keep the image as well, because you can see it's different everywhere, it's beautiful, I might lose the title. You know what though, I can write it back on. Okay, see you in a sec. YouTube magic. Took the booklet apart. I'm gonna leave it in here to keep it all in order. I have the cards in order over there in the other side of the box. this is the first image, but this is the text that goes with it, which means I can repurpose this for something else because it doesn't belong to any card. Let's start with this and see how we can use those dimensions, etc. Yeah, so let's see. It's very thin paper. Gonna be pretty interesting to cut. This is what we would get, but it goes over the edges. I know, it's black on black. Let's see. Could I just do that? I guess I could. I pull this card, turn it over, but then I would, of course, have that. But those little corners, I may need to actually use the corner rounder. Because I do hope to still be able to shuffle this deck. So then you would have this. There's a little black border here, yeah, you can tell. I would lose this artwork. I still have it in the other deck though. Okay, so I'm gonna trim these. That's the next thing I'm gonna do. I think that works for me. Cool. Doesn't have to be perfect. This deck is not about being perfect. All the cards are in order. I'm going to give this a go with the extra card, and since I already have this, I'm going to glue this one, the introduction, to the back of this sigil. Right now I am using glossy Mod Podge just to try it out. I like to apply it with a brush. And yeah, we'll just see what that does. I may need to actually use clear contact paper, but we'll see. I need a base just to do the edges right. I haven't used this in so long. Ooh, and I can tell with the coating on this paper that this might, well, I don't know, let's see. Might not absorb properly, blah, blah, blah. We're just trying this out. We're good. All right, and now onto the back of the card. This is gonna take a couple days work for sure. Wow, look at that. Getting rid of the air bubbles and the excess glue. And of course, Mod Podge is kind of forgiving because it dries clear. Okay, well, I gotta say this is not bad. It feels like a sturdy card. Oh my god, this is so good. Isn't it fun that I'm collaging, in a way, a collage deck? Let me try to show you the imperfections. See, you can see them. There's a bubble. and some streaks, but yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe I can seal those edges a little bit. Hopefully the cards won't stick together. So that's obviously something I'm trying to avoid. Don't want slippery cards, but sure as hell don't want sticky cards either. So just for the sides. I don't know. This one is an experiment, okay? I'm gonna let this dry and come back to you. Just a little intermission with my Centennial deck. I am actually a day of filming celebrating my I don't know how many years anniversary of my first tarot reading for an actual client. And I pulled this card, which is really lovely, of course, when it comes to a question about any sort of work and finances, and then I pulled the Temperance card. So really, obviously, what the tarot has done is make me a more whole person, one who is not afraid to accept the different parts of herself and sharing different parts of herself with other people. It's just about becoming more yourself and allowing yourself to show others that. I stopped being afraid of mixing creativity, spirituality with something that is often seen as dirty and not good, money and income. But guess what? In this world, this earthly realm, we do need money and income if you want, anything of a quote unquote normal life. I feel that tarot really has elevated my own understanding of who I am, absolutely, but also what I can bring to the world. There's really that coming together of things and the exchange of energy. I am highlighting these things in this 2-card reading just because it took me a while, and I was aware of it, to understand that I do have something valuable to give, that my work is worth time, someone's time, that it's worth attention, and it's worth it for me too. It's worth the energy, and it's worth what I get out of it as well, as a whole. I went back to the deck with the images that started it all. Let's see, this didn't fully dry, fully. I gotta say, it doesn't seem that sticky at all, but the smooth paper sure is better. So I think I'm gonna do all the other cards for now without sealing in the little edge of the paper against the card and see where we are. That's what I'm gonna do now. Yes, with this text, we've seen it. Oh my god, I did it. That is so cool. Oh yeah, of course the paper's gonna scratch more than the cards, right? So maybe I still need a protective film of some sorts. We'll see. First I'm doing this. Good morning. Coffee is brewing, although I do feel like a fraud because it's decaf. I can't really have normal coffee anymore. Anyway, I really should have Don Michel'd this a little bit better, meaning do some research about how to make crafts and stuff. I'm gonna try using tacky glue now instead of the Mod Podge, because the only card that didn't really, well, it doesn't do that anymore, detach the paper from the card was the first one where I made that little sealing edge. But even then, it still opened up at one side. Plus, I don't really like the look of the edge. Yeah, there it goes. See that? Doesn't really matter. Now, I already know, I think, that this is working with plastic because all these glues are plastic, which I just wanted to add that in. is a bit of sacrilege for Chiara May's work because her decks are all biodegradable. Is that the right word? I believe they still are, at least. The first edition of the Ritual Tarot certainly was, which is why a lot of people didn't like the cardstock because it's different from what we know. Now, I never minded that cardstock, but this is so nice and smooth, I have to say. So maybe the stock is the same, but the finish is different. Anyway, I am going to try and glue this onto the next card with the tacky glue. We'll just see how that works out. It's an experiment, it's fine. These are all the names of all the cards in order. Actually, I expect it to unstick a little bit as well, detach a little bit as well from the backs. I am going to take it that one step further and use clear contact paper that I'm going to pick up soon. You hear that? Maybe I'm just gonna have that anyway, but look, it feels good. And these backs, they are such works of art. I love having this on the back. So yeah, just trying it out. God, I love the smell of Mod Podge. It smells so nice and cozy. I'm gonna try it out with the tacky glue. So I was saying the Mod Podge cards, they did dry with a bend in them, even though I had some heavy objects on them. But let's see if it does the same with the tacky glue. I'm gonna let this one dry underneath the heavy books. What's my heavy book? It's a thrifted find of the Book of the Dead, Egyptian Book of the Dead. So actually with the glue, I got a very similar result. Yeah, pressing them underneath the books I think helps, but I am going out to buy some clear contact paper. So I realized this is all super messy, and that's just how I do, okay? I'm back. I got 2 rolls of clear contact paper. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day, which is very rare in this country. So really what I should be doing is enjoying this beautiful weather outside. However, I'm doing this and filming for you guys. I enjoy both of these things. Let's measure a little bit. This would be 1 card, then the next. And of course, I'll be continuing my experiment on this card. It's the only different card I have, so that's what we're doing. What we usually do is stick it onto the table. You'll see what I mean. Oh my god, is this gonna be sticky enough? Oh god. The plastic stickiness is something that immediately comes through as I've done this, and it sure feels different from Tiara's original vision. Also, I'm not sure if it's sticking to the edges there, which in this case could be due to the Mod Podge sealing in edge. However, I have a feeling this might not be the way to go so far. But let's continue this experiment. Are you excited? Well, the answer to this is no. I don't like this. No, I don't like it at all. It makes it less black for one. See that? Due to the teeny tiny air bubbles. And the sides don't actually stick to the card itself. Hear that? Can I do this? Check this out. I mean, it obviously would protect the paper. And maybe I could wait for it to stick more. However, I really don't see how the science of that would work. This stuff does not stick. So, guess I'll just continue with the glue. This is tacky glue and it's supposed to dry where you can still bend it a little bit, which is, I think, good for cards. So, all right, that's the end of this experiment. Of course, I'm gonna work hard to try and upload this in time. And maybe I will actually show you the very end result in a next video, because I'm just having fun doing this, combining the artwork of the cards with the art project artwork of the spell book, because I want them to be one. So honestly, I'm having fun with this, even though, you know, the edges they're not sticking and stuff. But my point here is, give me a tip. Okay, give me a tip on how to do this. Maybe tag Dawn Michelle, she'll know what to do. I have referenced her stuff many times, as many tarot lovers and, you know, modders here have done, I'm sure. I want to say thanks so much for watching. If you've actually made it this far, how about you comment? Oh my god, eclipse. We've just had a blood moon, which is a full moon eclipse. And some magic has happened. I filmed it for Patreon. It's gonna go up probably next month or the month after though, because I have some other videos that I want to share with my patrons before. But well, then at least you know that, all right? And regarding the word, share it in a comment if you have something to comment, or share just the word eclipse in the comment section so that I know you have actually made it this far. And if you want to check out another video that I think you'll like as well, I will link it pretty soon. And of course, maybe you want to check out my other platform, which is Patreon. I appreciate your support and you guys are awesome. You know, of course, my deck has been here the whole time because it so fits this aesthetic. Oh my god, I just realized I pulled the collage card. Thank you so much. I will see you very soon. Bye.